Hi, this is Anna, and I'm here to talk about why the mind field is a minefield, at least when it comes to spiritual healing. I mentioned in our last segment that humans have 4 energy fields: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual is the biggest one. I also mentioned that the physical and the emotional fields both connect pretty easily to the spiritual field and seem to align well with spiritual healing. Where we tend to have problems is on the mental field level. And that's because of the purpose of the mental field and the actor in the mental field, which is the mind. So the purpose of the mind is to help us to navigate the physical world. So its work is very linear. Okay, it collects data, analyzes data, it comes up with predictions and strategies and creates rules and structures to help us make decisions and take actions which are going to cause us the least pain and the least danger. So this is how that might work. Let's say you do some online dating and you meet someone and you have a relationship, and about a month in you find out the person was lying. And you feel heartbroken, you feel betrayed, you feel hurt. Well, the mind might take that experience and turn it into a rule and say, no more online dating for us, okay? So the mind would create kind of a little structure out of that rule in the mind field, in the mental field. And I think of it as a little house. So inside the house is that experience of heartbreak, pain, betrayal, and the structure around it's the rule. And the rule is there to prevent this from happening to you again. Okay, so, and of course, over time, the mind will create lots of these little houses, these little rules, and maybe create a whole system out of the rules. And the mind can also collect stories from other people, which is probably why when we hear of a tragedy happening to somebody, we are so quick to ask questions about what the person did wrong. I don't think we're cruel people that just want to blame the victim. I think our minds are trying to use this as a strategy so that we can prevent ourselves from having that same thing happen to us. So the mind is collecting all of these houses and their rules to keep us from getting hurt. But the problem is inside each of the houses is the living pain, which means we are still in pain because this pain has still not been released. It's now trapped in this rule house. The purpose is to keep us from having more pain, but the problem with that is, as the law of attraction tells us, whatever is within us draws more of the same to us, which means if we have 50 houses full of pain, those 50 houses of pain are drawing similar pain patterns to us, which means over time, our pain level is actually increasing. Which means we get to a point where it starts feeling critical. We really feel like this is getting really hard for us. And that's the point at which we have to question whether our current strategy is working. And that's when we are going to feel tempted to look beyond the known, the understood, the predictable, into the unknown, which is moving from the mental field into the emotional and finally to the spiritual field where miracles are possible. But we can expect, even if we're in a lot of pain, that the mind is always going to resist it, at least at first, that movement. Because the mind is not only about keeping us safe, it's about keeping us sane. And moving outside of its realm of understanding means moving into the unknown, which is inherently dangerous for the mind. So it is possible. Actually, it's not even that hard to overcome the resistance of the mental field if you know it's there and if you have the right tools. But you need to know it's there, otherwise it can really sabotage you and trip you up. So as one of my teachers once told me, the mind must submit to the heart and the heart must submit to the soul, which is the movement from the mental out to the spiritual. It is totally possible. It just needs awareness and the right support system. So that is this segment, but I also want to, before we leave this mental resistance behind, I want to look at another facet of it in the next segment, which is a little bit trickier to work with, and it is called the payoffs for staying sick. So I hope you'll join me next time.